which university you're targeting, right? So that will give me an idea about your profile and where you want to go. So I can guide you personally as well. And I will not be able to answer all of the questions, but wherever I can drop inputs, wherever I can connect the dots, I'll definitely help you guys, right? So first of all, again, welcome to the session, and let's start on this particular topic. This is a very heated topic right now, and every year is the same scenario with the study abroad students, I would say. Okay, so okay, just give me 1 minute, right? I think more people are joining in. Okay, just give me 1 second. Okay, perfect. So whoever is joined right now, welcome to them as well, and please get settled down. We'll start the webinar now because it's already 4:07. We are 7 minutes late. Okay. So yeah, anybody who wants to drop any hint about where they are from, which city or which university, they can please drop it in the Q&A section, right? I hope the Q&A section is active to you guys, right? You can just drop a little bit. If I know about you, then fine. If not, if you have seen my face for the first time, it's better to just introduce yourself. Okay, let's start with the topic. Okay, so first of all, though, I would definitely like you guys to fill out a poll for me, right? So which intake are you targeting? This is the first question, right? So I would definitely like to know which intake are you targeting? Are you targeting the September 23, January 24, or September 24? Okay, so which intake are you targeting? Please just vote on the poll, right? So I think the poll is live right now. Please select which particular intake are you here for. I think January 24 will be the midpoint, I would say. Even if you're going for September 23, you would be thinking of Jan 24 in the background. And if you're thinking about September 24, you can choose January 24 as your, mock-up session, right? So I think all of the people have voted January 24. So it's a very, I would say, narrowed down version. Everybody has just mentioned January 24. One is from September 24. Okay. Okay. So there are other people also who have selected September 24. So, okay, I get a mixed bag of people, right? So, mixed bag of people who are voting for January and September. No one from September 23. That's a good thing. You're already very late for September 23. It's not advisable for you to go for September 23 anymore until unless you have a certain university in mind in the European universities, right? So in the European nations. Okay, perfect. So I think I've received 80% of the polls. Rest of the people can still keep polling, right? Whenever you guys join in, you can definitely vote where are you planning to go. Great. I've got my answers. So according to the answers, January 24 is the main particular intake here that we're targeting. That's great because that is what we are going to cover here today. So let's debunk some myths about the Giant 24 intake. We'll come to you for personalized doubts as well. But let's first discuss what will be the strategy and how this particular webinar will also go, right? So it will be divided into 3 steps, right? First is deciphering when is the deadline, right? What deadlines are we chasing for January intake? Which universities are open, etc. Next step would be what and when to plan. So if you really want to fly out in January, what should be your ideal timeline in the next 8 months? What should be a series of steps to get into the dream university with your scholarship, right? And last is action steps. That means what you can do within this month, right? What can you do, bit by bit? How can you improve and get into the best university possible for yourself? So this will be the 3-step plan that we will be discussing in this webinar. And I hope it clears all of your doubts that you have with the January 24 intake. Okay. So what are the general deadline myths? So most of the people, most of the students that I've come across in my past few years of experience, most of the think that January is a timeline and January is the intake, where you start your entire preparation in July or August, right? So it's a huge myth, I would say. You are too late if you are starting in July or August. Think about it this way. If I have a student who wants to go in September 23, they start in September 22. That means a year before, right? There is a reason why universities are opening their application portals 1 year before, 1 year prior to the intakes and the class starting as well. Okay, so there is a reason because of it, and the reason is first come, first serve, right? Rounds and everything are there, but it is a simple first come, first serve basis. So deadlines are in June, July itself. You can't start by July or August. You have to finish by June or July. Okay. So the deadline myth is right now many students think that there is a lot of time for January. It's not true at all. You have to start as soon as possible, finish your application as soon as possible. Then only will you get a merit point from the admissions team and get scholarships as well. Okay, so that is the first thing that I want to talk about, right? So it's never too early in study abroad. I've had students who have joined me 2 years prior to their intake and they've cracked into the Ivy Leagues, right? You will find such case studies on our website as well. One of my most recent case studies is Lalit, right? So Lalit's case study will be soon up on our website. This guy has two offers right now. One is from Columbia and one is from Yale, right? And that is the kind of confusion I dream for my students, right? That is the confusion that I really want to talk about. I don't want to talk about which universities will give us an offer. I want to talk about which university do we want to go to, right? So that's the first thing. I hope this is very clear. I will discuss the detailed timeline. Don't worry. Month by month, we'll bifurcate it, right? And stay tuned. As you can see at the bottom, we are going to share a pre-shortlist of top universities for January 24 intake. This will not be like other pre-shortlists. How is that? Because I would say here you will find even Columbia in the shortlist. Okay? That's a very rare thing to find in a pre-shortlist. I'm sure you guys have talked to many other counselors, but this is what sets us apart. We are just aiming for the top universities possible. Okay. Now, before I get into the nitty gritties of what to do, what next to do, I would definitely want to start off with an example so that you guys are hooked, so that you guys are connected. Someone has done it before you just through the same procedure, right? You have, you can just see this is a case study of a student from Calcutta University, right? A real amazing human, I would say. It was great interacting with Sanchit last year. So he came to us for January intake. He was too late for the September intake, so he came for the January 23 intake, right? And he had a BCom of 48%. Now, I don't know how many of you know this. I don't know how many of you are from Calcutta universities. It is very difficult to score there. And he was pursuing his CFA and FRM as well together with the BCom. So his BCom score is just 48%. And hats off to his ambition that he came to us and he actually just mentioned that I want to go to the top universities only, right? I don't want to compromise on the ranking of the university because of my BCom experience, right? And he was a hard worker as well. Now, with this kind of a profile, where universities will see his 48%, they can't deny that this guy didn't do well in BCom. It was a tough thing to crack into the biggest universities, right? And GMAT also, unfortunately, he couldn't score that great a GMAT score. 650 is a very decent GMAT score, I would say. It just clears some of the cutoffs. Okay. But this guy right now is sitting at Erasmus University, Rotterdam, for an MBA, right? So that's number one in Netherlands, a top 20 MBA for me in the world, right? That's a brilliant MBA to get into. This guy, January intake MBA, is Erasmus Rotterdam. He also got an offer from University of Groningen, second rank Netherlands, and Singapore Management University with scholarship, right? So this is the success that he got as he followed the AMP timeline, the new timeline that we have brought for January 23. Actually, it's not just the new, it's the ideal timeline. People have been in a myth for the past 5 years, 10 years. So actually, this is what abroad universities, top universities I'm talking about, this is what they're looking for. They're looking for a person who starts early, finishes his application early, so that he can get a good shot at the top university profile, right? So here in front of you is a person who started for January intake and has gotten into the best possible, I would say, universities in the January intake in Europe for MBA. Right? Same with US and Canada. I would suggest that Canada even works earlier. Canada, later you have to apply this month or maximum by next month. US still you have till July end. Right? So this is the profile that you need to, I would say, capture, right? This is a profile that you have to relate. This is a profile that you have to take and as an example in front of you. And then let's follow up. Let's follow up with what are the do's and don'ts. Okay. So I want you guys to go through this particular slide very, very, I would say, diligently. Right? So I'll more focus on the don'ts. The do's are very obvious when it comes to study abroad, right? So you guys have to think smartly. You guys have to think that wherever you are actually investing 30, 40 lakhs, there are supposed to be checks, rechecks, and more rechecks before you even can spend the first lakh into the crowd, right? So I will focus more on the don'ts. Do not just rely on deadlines. This is as true as it comes, to be honest. Even if the deadline is July 1st, don't wait till June 30 to submit your application. That just shows laziness. That just shows the admissions committee that you waited till the deadline. Although yes, you will be considered in the same round, but first come first serve doesn't go out of the window. If I was in an admission committee, I would have loved an application as soon as my portal opened. We have been in talks with great admission committees like Columbia, Erasmus, or maybe London Business School, and all of them judge even small things on your profile. Right? Right now, I'm getting the chance to speak with you guys. Not every university gets this. We even have a one-on-one evaluation session. Universities don't do that mostly, right? Because they want to see how can you express yourself on paper through just a written application, through just what you have done, right, on your resume. They want to judge you and they want to know if you will be an addition to their class profile or not. So do not just rely on deadlines. These small things do matter. This is the 1% that puts you ahead of someone who has a better GMAT score, who has a better GPA, or who has a better experience. I've seen people with 740 GMAT, with 5 years of experience at a big four firm, getting rejected left and right just because of simple small things that could have been avoided. Do not just rely on deadlines. Do not just assume that applications are in rounds. So don't assume that all the people in the one round will be subjected to the same particular evaluation method. It's not true. Right? It's not true. Yes, they do publish the result together, but that doesn't mean that one round may everyone is the same. And do not just assume that the second round is that weak. Yes, your chances go weaker, but not that weak. Okay? Do not wait for last round to apply. This goes without saying. If you're new to the study abroad domain, then this is a new thing for you, and you should definitely keep this in your mind. You don't have to wait till the last deadline, the last round. If you see round one, round two, round three, for example, Rotterdam, it has 5, 6 rounds. You don't have to wait till the fifth round to apply. Apply as soon as possible, get your offer as soon as possible, right? And the fourth goes without saying, do not wait for filling the application last minute. Applications have to be filled beforehand so that you get to know what all is required in the application, right? Don't just curate your documents according to Google or according to YouTube, and at the end date, you're opening the application for the first time. Trust me, there are twists and turns there. There might be an essay question that you missed out on the Google website or any particular YouTube website, right? And on the last day, if you hit the panic button, then your entire application is ruined. So create an email ID, right? Fill out the application very early, right? And get to know what all does the university require for me to judge me. Okay. So I would like to take a little pause here and ask you guys, right? Any doubts here? If you want to post it, please post it right now so that I can clear it, together. Otherwise, at the end, there will be a lot of doubts and that will not be possible, right? So if you have any doubts until the matter that we have covered right now, please post it on the Q&A group. Okay. So there are some personalized questions such as US January intake. Okay. Right. Okay. So the question reads out simply, what will be the timeline for US January intake? We'll be getting there. We'll be getting there. Don't worry. And to be honest, in the January intake, please make sure, right, no matter which country you're applying to, apply as soon as possible. I know people get a little clumsy when they hear Europe runs a little late, so you can apply till September, October. Don't do that. Apply. If the applications are open, they are open for a reason. right? If Columbia University has opened its application for January intake already, that means someone in the entire world is filling out an application right now who is a competitor to you. Okay. Okay. Rest of them are personalized questions, so I will be coming back to them later on. Okay, let's move forward. What are the do's? Right. If it's first come, then apply ASAP, right? Check the date when applications are opening. Check if rounds are first come, first serve. Check the last round for international student. So for every particular round, it will be written if it is open for international student or not. Look for the asterisk mark on the deadlines. Okay. In the last two particular deadlines, there will be two asterisk marks. One will be international round deadline. The last will be double asterisk mark, last round deadline for local applicants. You have to take into consideration the second last one, the international round deadline. Okay. Apply for GRE waiver at least 2 weeks prior to your deadline, or in fact, more than that for me, right? Apply for it. If you're going for the GRE waiver, first come first serve becomes more important to you, right? Because you are not giving a GMAT GRE, you are not giving another particular document to self evaluate. So you should apply for it as soon as possible and plan your exams to have results before you apply. I've seen many people who plan their IELTS just 3 days before the deadline. Problem is, IELTS might not give you the results in the next 3 days. Your entire application will be declined or at least diluted to the next round. So that's something that I don't want any of you to face. So these are the do's and don'ts, very simple do's and don'ts to take into consideration. Now, this is the timeline that I have got. We have done a little bit of research over the past 3 years, and based on that, this is what students think. And please drop into the comment section if you think this is the timeline that you have to go for. Because many of the students think this, that they can start searching in May, they have to give their exams in June, right? June and July, edit their applications in August, September, apply in October, right, and get their visa in December so that they can fly out in January. So now, please tell me in the Q&A section if you guys also think this is the ideal timeline. If it is, be honest. Please be honest. It's not something of scrutinize. I will not scrutinize you also. It can be your perspective, right? So we are welcoming every perspective. So is this the timeline do you guys also think that you have to follow for January intake 2024? That's the question. Please write a basic yes or no on the particular Q&A section. So yeah, people have written no, people have written yes as well. Okay, so mixed reviews there. Okay, please be honest, not a problem, right? Okay, I can see a prior, I would say, comment where Sahil has written, some of the best universities have mentioned that GRE waiver is only for 2023 intake, and for next spring or fall, the call will be taken in September. Sahil, this will not be true for January 24. For all the students that we are preparing applications right now, mostly all of the students have the clarity whether January 24 has a GMAT waiver or GRE waiver. If not so, if your university, if you're looking for some particular university and that has not given you clarity, please email that university. There will be an admissions email all over the place. Email them. They have already decided GRE waiver is going to exist in the January 24 time, right? I'll tell you a little secret about this. Universities have actually seen what kind of candidates come up if they make the GMAT or the GRE waiver on live, right? And they're happy with it. They are happy with it. They are really impressed by the potential that GRE waived applicants have brought into their cohort. They were not expecting this. They were expecting that people only who can perform in GMAT or GRE are good for their cohort. But in the last 2 years, many universities have learned this lesson, and that's why the GMAT GRE waiver will be existing parallelly to the GMAT GRE applications, right? So rest assured, even if you don't have a GMAT or GRE, you can still apply for Spring 24. There will be multiple universities. Okay, great. So yeah, many people have written, actually 60% have written yes, 40% have written no. Great. 40% writes no. I'm very intrigued to know what you guys think is the ideal timeline. But let's attend to the 60%. All right. So 60% of you guys think this is the ideal timeline. Guys, this will be an ideal timeline for a low ranked university or even not for them in certain manners. One of the most technically unsound things, I would say, because you can see the visa is set in December. That is not possible. Okay. This is absolutely not possible. And if it is, you are a very lucky person. I know you'll have examples that my friend did this, my friend did that. They were absolutely lucky. Trust me, the visa slots are not that easy to get anymore, specifically from the last year. So your visa has to be completed. Let's backtrace, right? You will be flying in January, that's for sure, but your visa process has to start in October. Has to. So that if you don't get a slot in October, November, then you have December, right? And trust me, these are particular months filled with holidays, government holidays, US holidays. The communication is also very slow. So make sure that a visa process starts in October, right? Now, this is the timeline that we create for our students. Now, pay attention, right? We want our students to start in March, right? What is the harm? The question is, what is the harm of starting early? If you're sure that you want to invest 40 lakhs, if you're sure that you want to go abroad and study, right? Or even if you are at 50-50, you want the best shot. There are many students that come to me and say, if I get a good admit, then I will do my visa. If I don't get a good admit, I'll not go abroad. Fair enough. Very strategic plan, very practical plan. But if you actually want to know your true potential, what is the harm of applying early? Right? That is the only question. You cannot be too early, guys. This is study abroad. This is not Indian applications, right? You cannot be too early. In April, right now, the students that are enrolled with us, they have already done their profile enhancement, right? That means they have added stuff to their profile that has enhanced their chances to get into the top university, such as research papers, right? Or NGO work, or any particular technical papers that we have suggested them to write. Some tricks of the book that we can't reveal all of them, right? But it is working, I can say that. Because this year, this particular entire group of team, right? This team has provided admission LBS, Imperial, Columbia, Stanford, Melbourne University. Take a name of any top university in any top country, and we have cracked that. It's working. The profile enhancement thing is working, right? So we have spent around 2 years to develop that, and me and my entire team have studied abroad or at least have got top offers from abroad. So we have done this process for ourselves. That's why we are so confident. So in April, it's dedicated to profile enhancement. My students are giving exams this month, May. They're giving IELTS, GRE, even if they're going for GRE waiver, they are focusing on some other exams that can help them. Right? In June, July, we will finish off our applications, right? Whatever pendency is left, we'll finish off our applications. We'll create the SOPs, SOAs, LOR. Even here, it's written that we apply in July. To be honest, we want to apply in June, right? This is because certain document pendencies are on the student that's not in our part, right? For example, a degree from the university. Now, a university, your bachelor's university, might take a lot of time to give you the degree. So, fair enough, we can wait for that. But as soon as all the documents are here, we want to apply within June, July. Okay? Why is it also important to apply early is because the universities take 2 months now to give you an offer letter. There are certain that are giving in 7, 10 days. I'm not denying. But if your university is one of those that takes 1.5 or 2 months or waitlists you, then you're in trouble, my friend. Because then again, your visa will get impacted. So I want to get done your visa in the November, December. You have to start in October as soon as you get your offer, and November, December, your visa is done. January, you fly off. Right? So how many people could comprehend this entire timeline? Do you guys agree with this timeline? Right? Where you apply early, you get your offer early, you have a visa. Actually, I want to just keep December for you guys. Ideal thing before going abroad is to spend time with the family and with your friends. People want to travel a lot in December, right? So why not keep a month completely tension free? So only the cue here, the only point that I'm actually concentrating on is start early, finish early, have the entire December to yourself, spend time with your family before taking the biggest move of your life. Okay. Okay. Anybody has any doubts regarding this particular timeline? You guys can mention it on the QA box, right? So yeah, any particular doubts? Okay. So what if you are starting right now? Good question. Good question. You're already late. Yes, you are already late. But to be honest, we can still do it, right? If the profile enhancement can be minimized and we can give exams. If you've given IELTS, great for us. If you've given GRE, great for us, right? If not, if you're going for a GRE waiver, great for us. We can fast track and we can still apply with, within June or July. Which top schools in US are open for January MBA intake with a GRE waiver? We'll be coming to that, Sahil. We'll be coming to that. Okay. Then it comes around exams you have to give IELTS or GRE. Great. So I'm making a poll live. Okay. I just want you guys to answer very quickly, right? So it's a very simple poll. Have you decided your target country? So accordingly, I will be able to guide you guys. Right? So have you decided your target country? Yes, no, simple answer, right? And if possible, you can mention on the Q&A box which particular, I would say, country are you targeting? Are you targeting US, Canada? I think Sahil is going for US. Okay. And there is Sachin is going for UK. Okay. Okay. UK, US, Canada, Australia. Take it. Got it. Okay. Take it. So most of the people have decided which country they want to go to. 40% have not yet decided. It's about time, guys. You have to start, I would say, shortlisting your country, right? You can take a one-on-one video evaluation sessions with us also. That's also completely free. In that, we help you decide your target country as well, right? Next is which particular exam have you taken, and have you taken the GMAT or GRE or not? This is a poll also that I want to check, right? If you guys have taken a GMAT GRE, we can expedite this process to another level. We can finish off your entire applications by June, right? Oh, many people have not. Okay, I think you guys are planning, but maybe have not started. Okay, 80% of the people have not given GMAT GRE yet. No, take it. Perfect. Now moving forward, profile enhancement plan. I have been using this word, this term a lot in the past 10 minutes, right? So what do I mean by profile? So whenever you talk about a university evaluating your profile, it will not just be your marks. It will not just be your GMAT. It will not just be your BTech. Is it related to your masters or not? Trust me, they don't matter that much. I know there are a lot of blogs online that say 60% of the weightage is going to this, 30% is GMAT, etc. To be honest, with the kinds of admits that we have got and the admission stock that we have had with certain university counselors and their admission team as well, this is not true. What they're looking for, I know it sounds ideal, but it's actually true. What they're looking for is a student who has the intent to go for the targeted master's course and they have taken several positive steps towards their target. It's as simple as that. Right? And I'm not talking theoretically, right? You have to document every step as well. There are many people who do NGO work, right? But they don't document it. What work? How many lives did you affect? Everyone right now has an NGO work, right? NGO work certificate. How do you stand apart from that NGO crowd? Right? What have you done? Simple key. You have to be consistent. There are many people who do an NGO work in their college time. Right? That doesn't count as NGO experience. That counts as a curriculum experience. Okay, people who have graduated from the university, it's been 3 years since they've graduated. They have stayed in touch with an NGO. They work every weekend with them, right? They have contributed to the community enough to show data about it. That's what the university wants. They don't want only one NGO certificate hanging in your resume. No, they want to know what impact you created. How well did you document it? What research projects have you done? And what was the implication of it? Right? Again, even if you have a 7.5 GPA, trust me, we can get you into Stanford. How? You just need to give 1 year to us. 1 year, man, your 7.5 CGPA will not be the highlight of your resume. The highlight of your resume will be being an average student. What all steps did you take to make yourself stand out from the crowd? Right? So that is what profile enhancement. And the more time you give us, the more time you give yourself, right? More enhanced your profile will be. You can see 6 things drawn up here, right? Research projects, internships, community work, music, sports, right? MUNs, certifications, summer school, a lot of things. And this is not the end of it. I have like 12, 13 things, activities that you can go, and even more than that if you have a flexible profile. So let's compare. What if I create a 3-month plan, or what if I create a 6-month plan? Okay. So this is how a 6-month plan looks like. Very elaborate. There are 14 activities like here, right? This is of one of my students. I can't share because the student is still active with us, right? So you can see here, for the 14 particular activities, we have divided all the tasks in the next 6 months. We have to drop an application in October for the next September intake. That is the case here. He's going for September 24. He has started with us in April, and April to October, we'll be just doing profile enhancement, nothing else. He's continuing his job on the side and he's dedicating 4 hours every week. I'm saying 4 hours every week, not every day, not every month, right? It has to be a combination of it. So 4 hours every week to this particular part, and that's for profile enhancement, right? Here, the next 6 months, he will be going to be affiliated with an NGO. You can see the yellow line there, right? This is called a Gantt chart. So next 6 months, he will be connected to an NGO. We'll do two professional courses, one in June, one in September. We'll attend a conference in May, right? An online conference, but for IIT, right? So one IIT conference is there that he's going to attend. He's also doing a little side internship. For example, if you have to convert your technical background to a management background, you might take small internships to learn more about the culture. Now, in India, people are against it. People are like, when I'm doing a job, why do I need to do an internship? I'm not talking about a full-fledged internship. I'm talking about a 2 hour per day internship, that too in your rest hour. That's 7 to 9 p.m. maybe, right? But this adds the skill set. This adds the experience that universities need to know, right? Why to go out of your way and do an internship? It should generate that knowledge with which you can apply to the top universities. Similarly, new language, sports, any sports activities that you could do, right? Or technical articles, right? Resume, LinkedIn upgradation is also a very important part. You have to regularly post on LinkedIn. That is also a very, I would say, the minimal effort that it takes, but to create the hype around your resume, right? Regularly posting on LinkedIn does help a lot. Does help a lot. Right? So this is a 6-month plan. You can see a lot of activity. Now, for January intake, we'll be more focusing on the 3-month plan, right? I know this looks very dull, but when you actually look about it, in the 1 month that we have to enhance our profile to that level, right? So we might do some conferences, some courses, only 1 or 2 workshops, self-driven projects, and then go for a new language or a technical article, right? Small things here will make the biggest impact. Trust me, in January, nobody has the time to enhance their profile that much. So here you are an advantage. So if you guys start early, you might go with the 6-month plan as well. Because if you start today, by November, your profile will be completely changed. And trust me, if you apply in June, July, you will get your interviews in September. So by that time, if the 6-month plan is even 60% over, your profile will be completely boosted. And they will be shocked to see so much improvement from the person who dropped that paper application and when compared to the person who is sitting right now in front of their interview. That's the plan. Go for the bigger month plan, right? So go for adding as much things on your resume because this is your one last master's, I would say, right? Or maybe your second last degree. Okay. If you are planning for a master's right now and MBA later. But most probably this is the last time you are putting an effort academically towards your professional career. Give it your best shot. Okay. Okay. So let's discuss about which particular universities did Sanchit apply. I think Sahil, your question will also be answered here. He just had a 650 GMAT, and yet he could apply for Columbia, HEC, Rotterdam, Groningen, Singapore Management Universities, right? 5 of the top MBAs in January intake. Okay. So he had a BCom, 48%, CFA, FRM completed. This is the timeline. This is the ideal timeline for a student to go study abroad in January and get the top admits, no matter what your profile is. Okay. So in April, he started the process. April, May, he just did profile enhancement. Whatever research we wanted him to do, whatever technical articles we wanted him to do, we guided him, we suggested him, we published his articles as well. May, he was ready to make the applications. And June, July, we just focus on scholarships. Now, in this scholarships, I mean reaching out to professors, reaching out to clubs, reaching out to different deans so that they consider his application for scholarship as much as possible. Okay. May he applied, August he got his offer letter. You can see they took 2.5 months to decide whether he was worthy or not. At the end, they thought he was worthy. They got an offer letter. Actually, in fact, in the June, July, when we were contacting professors, it's a very, very intriguing story. One of the professors was so intrigued by his rigor and by his approach and communication skills. He offered him a job, right? A part-time job with him in his investment company straight away. So he got an offer letter and he got a job letter, right? Before going to Netherlands. And then in August to October, we sought the best accommodation for him. On campus kya hota hai, off campus kya hota hai. You have to strategically think. Because if the on campus accommodation is very far from the city, that means you will miss out on a lot of internship and job fairs. So you have to think strategically. Is the location profitable for me or not? Right. Also, it's about investment for many students. On-campus accommodation can be relatively cheaper in some universities. Sometimes off-campus is relatively cheaper. October, we filed his visa, and this was his shortlist, right? So MBA, Columbia, HEC, Rotterdam, Groningen. This is still possible, even with a menial GMAT score such as 650, right? This guy, as I showed you before, 650 is the GMAT score, and he has got an admit from Rotterdam, Groningen, and Singapore Management University. Right? So now I guess this gives you clarity. What is the advantage of starting early? So I will keep my points short, right? These are the deadlines for January 24 that's upcoming, right? All of these universities are open for various courses, MBA, MSCS, business analytics, right? Engineering management. There are a lot of courses in all of these universities, and these are the upcoming deadlines. There is a reason why these have such an early deadline for the January intake. You can see none of them are in October, none of them are in September. Some people said yes to my initial timeline, right? So that's not how it works, at least not in top universities. Okay. INSEAD MBA, June 27 is the deadline, right? Stay tuned till the end of the webinar. We'll be sharing you the entire list of universities that are open in January intake, all top universities. So you can browse your eyes through them also. HEC Paris, May 11, UT Dallas, one of the most up and coming areas, I would say, because if you pay attention to news in US, Texas is where most headquarters are going. Texas is where more Indians want to relocate. I know there was a shooting incident 2 to 3 years ago, but after that things have changed, right? So a lot of people are moving to Texas. Right? Erasmus Rotterdam, IE, that is in Spain. It has a rolling admission. So this is a trick, right? When they say rolling, that means first come, first serve. If you apply today, you'll get your offer letter within 1.5 months. If you apply 1.5 months later, you'll get it more 3, 4 months later down the line. And that, to be honest, the seats will get lesser every day. So if you're planning for IE Business School, apply ASAP. University of Calgary in Canada. Canada, though, it's very simple. It will be shut down. The seats will be over by July or August. You can try applying after August. Chances are 5%, 7% probably. Okay. So these are certain deadlines, and we'll give you all the deadlines, all the universities, to be honest, that are open for January 24 intake. You can see, right? So yeah, we are open right now for the Q&A, right? FAQs. So any other questions that you guys want to bring up? These are the 5 questions that we had got over our research, right? Are good universities open? The answer is in the previous slide. These are top universities. Trust me, these are the best universities open, right? Even Columbia will be open here, right? So Columbia is not here, but you will find Columbia as an MBA in January 24 as well. What is the ideal timeline? I think we have answered that now, right? What is the ideal time to start for January 24? Today, tomorrow. That is the ideal timeline. Every day counts. Is there any advantages for spring intake? Now, this is a serious question. This is a very interesting question, right? I think a lot of people have also raised it when I ask for Q&As. Is there any advantage? There is no certain advantage, I would say. It's just a very limited classroom. So you get more attention from the professors. You get more opportunities when you go for employment. It also depends when you're graduating, by the way, right? If you're graduating in the holiday season, it's always a little rough. Right? That's it. And there are no certain disadvantages as well. Many people have this myth that spring intake you don't get good professors. I don't know how you guys got that, but that's not true at all. The department remains the same, the faculty remains the same in the spring intake. Faculty might change, but it is not that spring intake is reserved for people who are less qualified, I would say, right? Is January intake less competitive? No. On the other hand, it is as competitive as September, sometimes even more, because the seats might be less. And when does application start for spring intake? They have started already. Any other Q&A, any other FAQs that you guys think we should answer? And yeah, the Q&A is open now, right? So you guys can just drop in on the chat box which particular question do you guys want to answer. We still have good 5 minutes to go for this webinar to end, so I can answer as many questions as I can. Apart from that, you guys will get an email with all the top university shortlist for different countries. Trust me, right? Different countries also, and you'll also get one particular task. Right? There is a small task. I'll brief you. First, let me answer the Q&A. Okay. So any Q&A from you guys that you want me to answer? Okay. Jan intake scholarships. Good question. Good question. Jan intake scholarships, right? Scholarships are possible. They are still possible. Again, very limited seats, very limited scholarships. Apply early, get the scholarships. The motto is the same, right? So one thing that I want you guys to take away from this webinar is you have to start early. That's it. That's the key to everything. You will figure out everything through the process, but until unless you start, we'll be thinking till August or September, and that will be too late for January also. And then the next intake is 9 months late, right? So that is very, very far. So go for January with the full power. Okay, take it. Any other questions that you guys want to answer? Okay. How to get into Colombia? Okay, very specific question. How to get into Colombia for January intake? Okay, that is a difficult question to answer. I would have to know a lot about your profile, what all to add on to your profile. It is possible. It is possible with a minimum GMAT also, but it is Colombia after all. It is an Ivy League. It will be a little difficult. My last intake with Colombia, I had 6 months with the student before the application deadline, right? And he got it. Right? It is a slow process, but we won the race. It does matter. Okay. How many January intake admits do we have? We have a lot of admits, trust me. You can go on our website, right? You can see our case studies. You'll find a lot of them there. Um, should we wait for September 24? No, you should not. Right? This is a, I would say, not a hidden strategy, but a very, very, I would say, useful strategy. If you really are interested in September 24 as well, why not apply to one or two universities in January? What's the harm? If you apply to, for example, Rotterdam, right? Rotterdam in January or Colombia in January, and you get in, then fly off. If you don't get in, or if you get in and you don't get a good scholarship, you say, I'm not content, sir. Then you can wait for September anyway, right? Because your September intake applications will open this September or October. Before that, you will have your January intake offers. So why not give it a shot with one or two universities, evaluate yourself to a top university perspective, and then go for the September big intake, right? And any day your January intake offer can be deferred to the September intake. So why not go for the January intake? For me, January intake is a perfect mock session as well for your applications, for your resume, for your entire profile. Brilliant mock. Right? Just as you give a GMAT or a GRE, you give at least 10 mocks before it. This is a perfect mock for September. Should I leave the job for GMAT, GRE, and IELTS? It's completely up to you, right? I've seen a lot of students that say that, I have to leave my job to prepare for GMAT, GRE, or IELTS. It's completely dependent on your time management skills. I have had students who have managed both. Sometimes people want to give their best shot. That is also a good perspective to go forward with, right? That's a good perspective to have, that if you say, I want to give my all for this particular GMAT or GRE exam, fair enough, not a problem. Right? Then you can leave your job. If you are sure that you want to go in January, then yes, your 1 or 2 month gap will not create a problem for your profile. Okay. Okay. Any further questions that I can answer? Rest of the questions I think we have already answered, right? Sahil has another question. Guaranteed admit to dream school on your website if I choose 5 top schools of my choice with no GRE and I do not get admit, then how the guarantee is ensured? Okay, Sahil, that's a elaborate question, and I think we have had a chat about this. right? So you can go on a website, you can check. We actually sign an agreement. This is for all the students who want to get on board with us, right? We sign an agreement on the particular guarantee. So on our website, you will find 5 university and 10 university packages on which we guarantee a one admit or a two admits. We sign an agreement with you. So Sahil, whatever your doubt is, it will be covered in the agreement. Till date, it has not happened. Actually, I have not served the guarantee. Right? If I am guaranteeing an admit, if we are guaranteeing an admit, the top schools without GRE, that's fine. It's my job to get you an admit, right? It's upon to us how we decide that. So most of our students do not have a GMAT, right? So don't worry about that. That will be taken care of. Apart from this, any other questions? Okay. Canada for January. So actually, Canada is divided into two particular domains. One is a college and one is a university. Colleges end early. Okay. So if you're planning to go for Canada, so you should definitely start applying as soon as possible. Universities are still a little relaxed. Colleges are not. Colleges are very affordable. That's why they are very competitive. So for colleges, I'm already seeing colleges shutting down for Canada. So apply as soon as possible. If you're looking for a PGDM, college gives you a PGDM, a university gives you a master, right? Apart from the apart from this, all of the other particular things have been sorted out. I think I have covered all of these. As I'm just leaving out the repetitive questions, okay? So if five of you guys have asked the same question, I'm just answering it one. Take that in consideration. Okay, talking about the task. Okay, so there is a small task that we have prepared for you, and this is not to help us. This is just to help you, right? So the task link is will be sent to you on your email. I'm still attaching that onto the Q&A section here as well. Okay, there's just a Google form. All you have to do here is create your own January timeline. Now, even if you're a September 24 intake student, you can start early. You just heard about Lalit, right? He started with us last April, right? And this April, he was sitting with a Columbia admit, right? So soon I will be coming up with a webinar with his profile to how to get into September 24. But even if you're looking for September 24 or January 24, create your own timeline through this Google form. Okay. So go onto this Google form. You'll find multiple questions there. Okay. So maybe your target country, your target course, and what is the timeline that you are imagining for yourself. And post your webinar. I think you guys will be able to make the best timeline for yourself. Okay. Apart from this, we will review this timeline and revert back to you as well, right? We will revert to you within 48 hours whether this is the ideal timeline for your target intake, target country, and target course, or you should do some modifications as well. So this will be our expert opinion, completely free of cost. This is just because you guys took out time on a Saturday evening, 4 to 5 p.m. I know it's a siesta time kind of. If you guys have joined us, I know your intent. We are just doing this for you. You get our expert guidance whether this timeline is the ideal timeline for you or not. Okay. Okay. So this will be sent to you on your email. Apart from this, we had promised you a giveaway, right? We had promised you that we will send you all the universities that are open for January 24, and we're going to stick to that promise. Soon after this webinar ends, you can check out your email. The entire PDF will be attached. Okay. Perfect, guys. So I think we have reached the end of today's webinar. I hope this was of some help to you, right? And I thank you guys again from all over India. I would say I saw a lot of people coming from Jaipur, from Chennai, from Kolkata, big cities, oh, even smaller cities like Baroda also. Great. So, right. So I'm very happy that you guys could get something out of this, right? And great. So this is where we end, right? You can definitely follow up, follow our mails, follow our particular post on Instagram and on our website. So do visit our website. The website is a combination of all the posts that we have, the admits that we have. There are a lot of blogs, free blogs regarding the study abroad plans. Go to it. It's premium content, and I think that will also help you. So until the next webinar, right? See you. Take care of yourself.